headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they actually love, and create amazing relationships. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author and Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So last week I was off for the entire week. We were doing an EntreLeadership Master Series where we were teaching leadership to small business people. We had just under 1,000 folks in attendance at that. It's usually a fairly small event like that, and this one was. And got to spend a lot of time with small business people, and of course, man, I was off the air during the time the hurricane hits Florida, so a little late to the game on this, old news, but prayers to those of you that are wading through what you're wading through there. I'm sorry for you. And I am, Christina, getting some interesting emails into our email inbox at the Ramsey concierge, we call it, or Ramsey customer area, and the number of people that are sending an email going, I don't know exactly what I'm going to find when I get back down there. I just read one a minute ago. It said basically this: I don't know what I'm going to find when I get back to my house, but I do know this. I'm 100% debt-free house and everything. I've got flood insurance. We're safe. We're fine. We left, got out. We're going back, and there's no U-Haul trucks following a hearse. So you're not taking it with you anyway. So whatever stuff is torn up, we're going to fix it. And it's a way different email or emotional state to be in if you are prepared for something like this financially.
Yeah, we actually had people come to the lobby last week who were running from the hurricane and came and stopped in here to visit us and kind of heard that sentiment of like, wow, this is awful. I don't know what I'm going to go back to, but I have peace in my finances and peace in my home because I'm not actually stressed about, a lack of preparedness.
Yeah, because, we've been since, Katrina, really, we've been pounding on flood insurance for those that are within range of a storm surge, because we discovered during Katrina that when State Farm took them all the way to the state Supreme Court to make sure that they didn't pay for their house being torn down because it was a flood, not a hurricane.
Ouch.
Although the flood was caused by a hurricane. I'm still pissed about this years later. But anyway, so they've separated the two successfully in the insurance industry now. So you better make sure you've got flood insurance if you're within a storm surge, because that's the thing. So we've been hitting that hard. And of course, we've been hitting hard being debt free and having an emergency fund and having your finances in order. Be the third pig in the Three Little Pigs, the one with the brick house, not YOLO pig. You only live once with the straw house, because the big bad wolf will huff and puff, and the metaphor really plays here.
YOLO pig.
Yeah,
that's my
for
new
real.
favorite.
Ian the wolf, right?
Right.
Huffed and he puffed and he blew their house down. Oh my God, for real. That's really awful.
I'm going to use that now. But, YOLO pig.
Yeah.
Don't be YOLO pig.
Don't be YOLO pig.
Be
the third pig. And so our hearts go out to all of you that have been affected in Florida. Our prayers go out to you. You've certainly been in all of the nation's thoughts and prayers through this period of time. And the good news is literally hundreds of thousands of people are on their way to help. People are doing all kinds of things. Americans don't make the news for being who they are always, but who Americans are is unbelievably generous and unbelievably good to people who are in trouble. And so the number of people putting up electric lines down there right now that are not from Florida is in the tens of thousands of people came with bucket trucks from other states.
Wow.
And so to help put Florida back together again. And as it should be, as it should be. You ought to, the neighbor's barn burns down, everybody ought to gather up and build them a barn. I like that.
Yeah.
That's generosity. That's not socialism. There's a difference. And so people being good to each other is always a good thing. So you guys in Florida, we love you. We're thinking about you. And, all of us all over America have friends we've been checking in with and wondering what was going on. Pete Young, one of our top leaders here, his mom and dad and brother are all in Tampa, St. Pete. So we're checking minute by minute because he was working on a live event with us this week up here. And everybody. We were all just checking in with everybody and all that. So the point is, you don't know when the big bad wolf's going to come or what form he takes. He might be a quarantine. He might be your company goes broke and you didn't know anything about it and you get laid off tomorrow. He might be gas doubles at the gas pump. And all of a sudden, there's a Biden sticker on there. I did it. I did that. There's always something, right? There's something happening. And so being prepared is your only option. And it's not just sitting around being prepared for bad things. It also actually positions you to prosper in good times when things are going right for you. So the stuff that we teach here, it's for everyone. If you're looking for snotty PhD level finance class, you're going to be disappointed here, because the only PhD around here is John Deloney and me. I have a PhD in DUMB. If you've done stupid, I've done it bigger. So I got you beat. So I'll call you stupid and me stupid at the same time, and we'll just be stupid together for a little bit. And then we won't be stupid anymore, and we'll move on. That's what we do. It's called learning, right? And so we've all screwed up. If you've made mistakes with money, that makes you over 12.
There you go.
Everybody has. And so this is the show for you. This is the place for you. Ramsey is the place for you. We do not exist for people that think you need a master's in finance to win with money. We have lots of data that indicates has nothing to do with it.
Yep. Well, and I feel like now we're in this culture where everybody wants to have the secret. They want to have the hidden secret to survive a recession, or this hidden secret. And there's not really a secret.
5 things to do to survive inflation. Yeah. 5 things you should do if there is no inflation. Oh, they're the same things. Who knew?
Common sense. Wow.
Be generous. Live on less than you make. Be on a budget. Get out of debt. Save and invest. Oh, there's a plan. Get out. These are things that work every time, and they come from grandma, or in some of your cases, great grandma. I used to say God's and grandma's ways of handling things. Some of you are young enough that your grandma was stupid. So, we need to go great grandma for some of you, but to go back and find common sense in our culture. But it's there. And it's real, and we're here to help you with it. So you call in, we'll walk with you on your money stuff and on your relationship stuff and on your career stuff. They all work together. And at Ramsey, we've got a Dr. John Deloney, we've got a Ken Coleman, and we've got all the rest of us working on the money stuff. And so we'll weave all that together and make sure you get a good answer. And it'll always be on a shelf that you can reach the cookies. I put the cookies down low. I like cookies, and I want to be able to reach them, and I'm just not that tall. So we want to put the cookies on a shelf where everyone can reach them. And if that insults your intelligence, then it's okay. Move along and hang out with the intelligent people. We'll just be regular people with a big pile of money. This is The Ramsey Show. I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk. Paying off debt is smart. Saving and investing is smart. But there's one key to winning with money that people overlook, and that is protecting your finances from emergencies. This is where the right kinds of insurance come into play. There's 10 kinds of insurance coverage you might need. The rest of them you probably don't need. And we built a tool called the Coverage Checkup to show you which types you need to add, drop, or adjust. We'll even rank your coverage list by importance, email it to you, connect you with a Ramsey trusted insurance provider. All this is free. It could be the most important 5 minutes you spend. Donald wrote in and said, for anyone who has not completed the checkup, do it right now. You never know when something will happen, and you never want to leave your family in a bad situation. RamseySolutions.com/checkup. That's RamseySolutions.com/checkup. Nick starts off this hour in Minneapolis. Hi, Nick. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Sure. What's up?
Well, brace for impact here. I have a residential and commercial cleaning business that I run solo, so no employees, and I work a crazy amount of hours. Like a busy week, I'll do 9 to 3 and then go back out and work from 7 to 11. So I know it's time to start hiring. That's the only way I'm going to scale it. But I just have some concerns that probably any other business owner would have, and that's the quality of my replacements, the consistency of work, just because of the industry that I'm in. There's a lot of changes in my clients, particularly the houses, and then the extra cost of the software and just the legalities and just all this stuff. And I'm just trying to get out of this rut, because I should have probably hired 2 years ago, and I'm really to the point that I'm just burned out. You know?
You're going to fry out.
Yeah.
What you're doing is not sustainable. You've got to get some help, or you got to raise your prices and lower the number of clients. One of the two. So, yeah. So, man, hiring is very difficult because there's all this mythology around it. Number one, the labor market's real tough right now. So it's hard to get people right now to do anything. Most businesses are struggling. The people we spent time with last week, entree leaders, number one thing they're struggling with, getting good people right now. It's always been hard to get good people. Right now is extra special tough. So that being said, here's what you're looking for. You've got to go slow enough to get the right people. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't bring on the wrong people because you get desperate. And you're late to the party, so you need to get with it. But you need to spend enough time. One interview won't do it. You've got to interview them more than one time. At a minimum of 4 times, you ought to sit down with them separate times to figure out what kind of a person that you're going to lend your name to. Because everyone that works for you is in marketing. Because if they screw up something, the customer's going to tell everybody that your whole business is a screw up. If they do something right, your customer's going to tell everybody that your whole business is great. And so with 1,000 folks on plus, almost 1,100 people on the Ramsey team, if one of them screws up, and I may not even know them, but it doesn't matter. They all go, well, that Dave Ramsey, immediately I get blamed, which is, that's what I signed up for. So I'm not bitching about it, but that's what you're signing up for. So not delegating to someone who you aren't comfortable with. You hire them first and you haven't trained them yet. You can't just hand them the keys to the kingdom and walk away. And, oh, no, I don't want to be a control freak. That's not a control freak. That's called training. Because you're turning over your reputation to these people. And so the rule on delegation is this, and it's in the book Entree Leadership. I'll send you a copy of it. It's easy to delegate to Christina when she goes on a major television program and answers questions on behalf of her and on behalf of Ramsey on, say, Fox News. I can delegate that to Christina. She's sitting beside me. I can delegate that because I can trust 2 things about her that I know, because we've spent enough time together training, we've spent enough time together to get to know each other, and here's the 2 things I know. I can trust her competency. She can answer the question correctly with a smile. Her on-camera ability is excellent. The camera likes her. She likes the camera. That's why she's on there more often than I am. And so that, and I can trust her integrity. She's going to do the right thing. If someone corners her in an adversarial interview on camera, she's still going to do the right thing. She's going to be sweeter about it than I would, but she's still going to do the right thing. And so when you can trust their integrity and their competency, they are trained to be able to turn something over to them, and you can still sleep at night. And that's not being a micromanager. That's called being a wise business owner.
That's good. Well, in this market with so much competition for jobs and a lot of employers struggling to find employees, how can a small business like Nick's stand out and get high quality people who have integrity?
Well, number one, you're going to have to pay them well. Not overpay them, but you cannot be at the bottom shelf. You're going to get what you pay for in that sense. Number two, you've got to give them the dignity of speaking into their destiny and into the destiny of the whole company. And so everyone at Ramsey's always talking to each other and to me and to everybody in the whole place about how we can all get better. We're all trying to figure out which play to run to win the Super Bowl. And we argue about it. No, I think we ought to throw it. No, I think we ought to run it. No, I think we ought to run it to the left. I think we ought to run it to the right. I don't care. I mean, we're always arguing, but we're arguing about one thing. How do we score and win a Super Bowl? And so you got to get people involved with their dignity and that kind of thing. The last thing, and I told these small business owners this last week, working for corporate America sucks. Even if you make more money, you're treated like a freaking number, and they will throw your butt in the street at the first sign of a stock downturn. You'll be the first one thrown out of there. So, that guy makes a lot of money, dump him. That gal makes a lot of money, dump him. Corporate America has no soul. It's a transaction. When you're running a small family business, you're working with the owner or right beside the owner, or you see the owner quite often. You have an advantage because you actually treat people like people. It's just your nature. And people would a lot rather work for a small business, assuming the pay is reasonable, because the environment is 1,000 times better than corporate stupid butt America that's lost its mind. I'm telling you, man, you don't want to work over there. And people sometimes leave here and go to work over there, and they'll call me up, Dave, I made a huge mistake. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Well, I know here a lot of people love the culture. Working at Ramsey, that's one of the big things that people talk about. People love just the environment here, the people who are here, and that's exciting. But I think a lot of small business owners, when they're first hiring, they're not thinking about setting an intentional culture, which it's important from day one. It's important from employee number one.
Yeah, but I figured out with our first 10 employees, we didn't have, you know what our benefits were? Your check cleared.
Hey,
that was our benefits package. Your check was good. That we had no benefits. The benefit was you got paid and it actually went into the bank and everything. Shut up. And so, if you want some health insurance, go get you some. This was before it was required. If you want some of this, go get you some. You don't have that? No, I don't have that. I don't even know what that is. You want time off? Try making some bunch of money so you can get some time off. And so, this is this is how we started. And so we couldn't compete, and we still don't try to compete head on with the corporate America benefits package. If you want a benefits package, then you're probably not a Ramsey team member.
Right.
We've got great benefits nowadays, but if you come here for other stuff, you can get more bennies somewhere else.
But you're good to your people from day one and from
There's
the
get-go. There's a human transaction.
Right.
That's your brand advantage. That's what we told people in the older days. We got no benefits. Your check clears. That's your only benefit. But guess what? We're working on something that matters, and we're working on this crusade to help people change their lives and change their family trees. And if you want to be part of something that's big and it's moving, this is where it's going to be. And we'll always share with you if we make some money, but we'll also share with you if we're starving to death.
Yep. And I think that's how you have people. Like in staff meeting this morning, we celebrated somebody who's been here for 20 years. And I feel like we're often celebrating people who've been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
And they just love the humans. They love, serving on this crusade with you because you've been awesome to them.
Well, it's you treat people like people treat people right instead of treating them like a transaction, like a robot. They're not a unit of production. I mean, people have kids and grandkids, and the dog is sick, and they have lives, and you actually can treat them like that if you're a small business, and that's your brand advantage when you're hiring. That's what you're looking for, Nick. And but then just make sure you're delegating to people you can trust their competency and their integrity. Hold on, we'll get you a copy of the Entree Leadership book and send it out to you. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. And by the way, drop by and see us if you're out and about. We're just south of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee, one of the best towns in the world. We're right down here, and the Ramsey headquarters are here, and you can come in and visit the lobby. There's free coffee and homemade cookies and all kinds of stuff to see and do, including the debt-free stage where Ryan is standing. Hey, Ryan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Honor to be here, sir.
Good to have you, brother. Where do you live?
Pentwater, Michigan. It's about an hour and a half north of Grand Rapids, right on Lake Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville. All right, and here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
Just over $103,000.
Good. And your range of income, or I'm sorry, how long did that take?
36 months.
36 months. And your range of income through those 3 years?
I started at like 110, and this year it'll probably be close to 128.
Good. What do you do for a living, man?
I'm a feeder driver for UPS. Drive semi-truck.
Wow. Good for you. Well, you're working a lot of hours. Good
Yep.
for you, man. All right. So $103,000 of what kind of debt?
All mortgage.
You paid off your house.
Yes, sir.
Dude, way to go. Looking at weird people.
Yep.
How old are you?
Just turned 39. I actually paid the last payment the day before my birthday, which September 23rd, same day you could declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, well, better for you than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. All right, so you're a single 39-year-old truck driver.
Yep.
With a paid-for stinking house.
Yes, sir.
You rock.
Thank you.
What's the house worth?
$250 maybe. I don't know. You look on Zillow and it's way higher than that, but I wouldn't go by that.
I wouldn't go by that either, but it's probably more than $250 then, yeah. Good for you, man.
Yep.
So tell me your Ramsey story. What inspired you to do all of this?
I started working at a fairly young age, 15. I worked at my grandpa's car dealership, but what got me really started was I worked for a sign company, small company. There was 5 of us, and that included the owner and his wife. And me and the owner we did sign work up and down West Michigan, and we'd listen to your show in the afternoons.
Yeah.
And first year we had the Christmas party. It was small enough we just had it at their house, and they had your Financial Peace Revisited book, and we'd been listening for months on. So I borrowed that book, and that put me down the rabbit hole. Since then, I think I counted up. I've gotten 15 yearbooks. I've read more of your books than I read through any of my high school or college, especially start to finish. But I went to a live event in 2010.
Yeah.
Got in touch with one of your financial approved people in 2012 and started my IRA.
Yeah. How much have you got in investments?
I looked the other day, and unfortunately it's down at like 200, but it's a good amount for right now.
So you're well over a $500,000 net worth at 39 years old.
Yes.
Well done, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very cool.
What a great birthday gift to yourself.
Yeah. When I bought my house, the goal was to be by 40, and then I came here 3 years ago, and that's what I got intentional after that, and it was Dave-ish for a while, but
so
3 years ago it was just let's I put the paper on I started the list on the refrigerator, and every time, I saw it, and that put me more focused on, just every payment, marking it down, and extra payments. And we're real busy through, Thanksgiving through Christmas time at UPS, and the extra income, just tack that on and tack it on. And
That's amazing.
Made it by 39.
Yeah, you did it early.
Yeah.
Good job. That's awesome. So what did this debt-free journey look like? What was the hardest part? What were some of the key things you did?
Just being intentional, not being, not letting normal take over. Just following the plan. It's not like it's 30 steps, it's 7. And just one step at a time. Just like, the Dave saying, how do you eat an elephant? One step, one bite at a time. And you just have to follow the plan. It's not rocket science. It's not complicated. Just follow the plan. So many people say that the plans, it doesn't work for me, and give countless excuses on why it doesn't work. It works.
That's why it doesn't work.
Exactly. It doesn't work because you didn't follow the plan. If you follow the plan, it works. And you just have to commit to doing the plan. And once you commit to doing the plan,
that's what we were talking about earlier. It's not crazy PhD level math. It's common sense. You just got to do it.
It's a couple pieces of notebook paper on the refrigerator with a couple of magnets, and a guy who's a detail-oriented guy.
Yes.
UPS feels very safe with him driving their trucks. This guy's a detail guy. And so, you don't miss anything. I mean, that handwriting, everything down that list, it's all, your personality was revealed right then. It's awesome. In a good way. You're a man of character. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Well done. How's it feel to not have a stinking payment in the world?
It's been great.
Did you sense a release?
Yeah, it's been.
Or was it anticlimactic?
It was anticlimactic. You make the payment, and
where's the dadgum fireworks?
No fireworks came off.
No confetti cannon.
But it's just, even once you're past baby step 3, like, just if you fall down at work the next day, if you get laid off, you don't have any payments, and you have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
It's going to be, there's no emergencies. It's an inconvenience.
Amen.
And now it's even beyond that. Now there's no house payment at all. It's just now just determine where the money goes.
It's almost boring.
I need a new list. I don't know what the new list is going to be now.
Almost boring. Yeah. You're going to have to really set a millionaire goal here and lay it down and start working towards that. Put that on the refrigerator now.
That was going to be my next question. What next now that you're completely debt free?
I got some house upgrades I'd like to do, but even through my journey, I cash flowed. I paid for an older Bronco as a second vehicle. It was only
a collector.
It's not that.
But you're going to
old.
build it up.
It's nice.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a summer vehicle.
Okay.
But it was just
a toy.
It's a toy.
Yeah.
But being intentional and setting the money aside to through it's baby steps 4, 5, and 6. It's if you want to be, have a sinking fund for that, that's the time to do it.
Way to go, man. Way to go.
Who are your biggest cheerleaders? I see some very happy folks off to the side.
Mom and her boyfriend have been huge cheerleaders. My grandparents have been awesome. It's just don't let normal take over.
Yeah.
Be weird.
So one of the things we've always enjoyed about being around Grand Rapids in general, the area there, you're a little bit north of there, I know, but it is the work ethic in that part of the country. It's kind of a Dutch thing. It's kind of a Midwestern thing going on, but you've got that work ethic. You're not afraid of hard work.
No.
You just get with something and stay on it.
Yes.
And that must have come from family.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Very good stuff. Yeah, moms and dads, if you teach somebody to work and teach them to stay on something in a culture where nobody knows how to work and stay on something, they're going to be like rock stars. That's what's going to happen. And so that's who you are, man. Way to go. Good stuff, man. Way to go.
Thank you. It's awesome.
We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next chapter in your story for sure. A Financial Peace membership for a year and a Total Money Makeover book. And be sure and give some of those away, and be sure and read some of them yourself. And you've read everything back to front, you said already. So maybe all of these are giveaways. We don't care. We want to give them to you. You can pass the love on, and somebody be inspired by your story. We're inspired by your story. Thank you. You're a hero.
Thank you.
Well done.
I've actually given away the Total Money Makeover I don't know how many times as a wedding present. And
yeah.
I'm sure it's a coaster for many people. But
It is.
There's a few that have actually opened it.
It actually has two lives. It starts as a coaster, and then there's a moment in time that people pick it up.
Yes.
And so it is the world's best used coaster, without a doubt. So I'm proud of that. It works good for me. Stays on the table. Doesn't get thrown away. That's a good start. We got a shot at it still. All right, Ryan from Grand Rapids, Michigan, $103,000 paid off, house and everything, in 36 months at 39 years old as a single guy driving a truck. $110,000 to $128,000 income. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. I'm debt free.
Yeah! Woo! That, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done. If you thought you couldn't do it, you can do it. We're going to put the cookies on a shelf where you can reach them because that's the only place we can set them. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Cameron is in Los Angeles. Hi, Cameron. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure. What's up?
Hey, so I need a little bit of help and guidance from you. Kind of where to start. I'm a little overwhelmed with a lot of my finances. I started yesterday by figuring out some debts, and I've realized that I'm really behind on a lot of my basic utilities and taxes, and I'm trying to get started on the baby steps, but I just feel so overwhelmed because I'm behind in so many things.
Okay.
So I kind of need to know kind of how to start on all this.
It's a scary place, isn't it, brother?
Oh, yeah.
How old are you?
33.
And what's your income?
I would say on average right now about 30,000 ish a year.
What do you do?
I work in the entertainment industry, so I do a lot of stuff for musical theater, so anything from costuming to wigs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right.
About how much debt do you think you have?
Well, when I totaled it up yesterday, I'm going to just probably rounding it to about $10,000.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Well, you know what? I know it's scary right now, but I just want to say good job getting on board. Like, we're really happy that you're calling today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Number one, we're going to send you a copy of the book, The Total Money Makeover. All right. And that's what close to 9 million people now have got that book and have used it. And I'm not selling you a book. I'm giving you one. So you don't have to, you just have to read it. That's all you got to do now. So here's what I would do in your situation. Before you start the baby steps, you need to be current with your utilities and current with your bills.
Okay.
So the first goal to get current is make a list of what each bill, like the electric bill. What's it take to be current on the electric bill? What's it take to be current on the water bill? What's it take to be current on the ... Fill it in, okay? And that's just to be current. You follow me? And then your goal when you do out your written budget is you're going to budget out, and any money you can squeeze out of your budget, you're going to work down that list, smallest to largest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like if it takes $20 to get a bill current, well, and that's your little one, boom, that one's done, right? Easy, right? It takes $50 to get another one current, boom, that one's done. That's easy, right? And so the more of them you get in the current side, the more your stress is going to drop, because right now your stress level's like up in your throat. You're chewing on your stomach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember that. I used to remember that, like, I get a little sweat in the palm of my hand, a little bit above my eyebrows, and your heart rate goes up when you make those lists of stuff, and you're just like freaked out, like you've jumped off a building and you're just falling or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you feel, right?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So more of that is going to go away the more of this you get and control. The second thing is that just by making the list, your stress level is going to go down because now we've quantified the size of the dragon that must die. This dragon must die. And you are a knight, young man. You're going to kill the dragon. And it must die. It may take a bunch of cuts. It may take a bunch of swings of the sword. You may get really tired, and you're definitely going to get some blood on you. But the dragon is going to die. You're going to kill it because you're just the guy. That's why you called us. We're night trainers. We're going to train you to kill the dragon. All right? You can do this.
Yeah.
So the second part of this equation is there's two sides to the equation, income and outgo. $30,000 a year in Los Angeles, California as an income sucks. You're starving to death. You have got to do some stuff to add to your income. And I don't care if it's something that's not pretty or not fun. What you need right now is some money. $10,000 would change your life. Can't say that about a lot of people.
Yep.
So the bad news is you got $10,000 worth of debt. The good news is it's only $10,000 worth. In other words, if we increase your income with a good, strong part-time job, it's $15,000 a year. You're going to be debt-free 100% in less than a year if you just live on what you make at your regular job.
Yeah.
So part-time job is in your future. I don't know if you're delivering Uber Eats or if you're delivering pizzas or if you're walking dogs or you're cutting grass. I don't care what it is, but you need to go do something for money, good money. Don't take something cheap, not minimum wage. I want you to make some money. And just I don't want you to do anything illegal, and I don't want you to do anything immoral that puts your ethics at risk, anything like that. But short of that, go get you some money, because $10,000 would change your life. That's pretty cool right now that you can do that. So my prediction is you're going to be debt-free in a year.
Yeah, I would like to. It's I find it hard as well in my situation because my income varies month to month because of the type of work that I do.
Yeah, it varies from sucks to not sucks as bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you have got to get some more income coming in. And really, your long-term career has got to get better. Would you agree?
Yeah.
You don't want to be making $30,000 when you're 50.
Right.
So what are you going to do? What's going to move the needle? You keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. Agreed?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So we got to work on the career side, short term, long term, and we've got to work on organizing the money and the expenses in a budget in the short term. And you can walk right straight through this. Hold on, we'll have Austin pick up. We'll give you a copy of Total Money Makeover and get you going.
Well, and the fear you're feeling right now, it's super uncomfortable, but I want you to turn that fear into what we call here gazelle intensity, where you're like a gazelle running away from a cheetah. And the good news is with $10,000, this can be gone quickly. It's scary right now and it feels overwhelming because you're looking at all these bills and you're behind and there's debt, but you can tackle this quickly, especially if you take that fear and turn it into focus and use it to propel you forward into knocking this out.
Yeah, I think you're right. If you're standing in the middle of the interstate and an 18-wheeler is coming, you feel discomfort.
Yeah.
And that's a good discomfort. Right. Get out of the freaking road. It's time for a change. Where you're standing is going to get you killed. And that's what you're saying here. Where the way I've been doing things has got to change on the income side and on the outgo side. It has to change. Otherwise, next year you're going to be sitting exactly here with the exact same stresses, different names, and the exact same bill problems, different names.
Yep.
And so the good news is you can just decide today, ready, set, go. This is America. Even in California, it's still America. You can still go do this, and you can get out of debt, and you can change this whole thing. And you need to look long-term at your career and what you're going to do. But short-term right now, I just want you to go get some money and clean this mess up. Renee's in Denver. Hi, Renee. Welcome to the Ramsey Show. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call today.
Sure. How can we help?
I'm calling because I'm looking for some guidance and motivation as my husband and I enter baby step number 2. I'm struggling with letting go of all the control of our finances and working with him on this because our debt seems pretty overwhelming. And even though I know where to start, I can't seem to get focused enough to make any progress.
Well, you're not surrendering control. You're just letting someone else have a vote. While you have a vote. You still have your vote.
It's hard for me to to work with him. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. So it's difficult for us to have those.
So it's not a
budget
control issue, it's a disagreement issue.
Yes.
If you were in agreement and both of you were voting that our goal is to get out of debt, and the only thing we're arguing about is how to get there, that wouldn't be nearly as big a problem as I don't really care if we get out of debt versus you're saying I want to get out of debt. Am I missing something?
No, you're right. I think that we're both just overwhelmed. It seems like we're being pulled in 80 different directions with our debts. So we're disagreeing on where exactly to start. He wants to start with one debt, and I want to follow the normal baby steps.
Okay.
How does a conversation go when you sit down and say, hey, we want to start baby step 2? What's kind of his opposition? What's his perspective on things?
He wants to start with things that are costing us the most money every month, so the higher payments.
But his plan got you here. So that won't work. Here's the thing. Here's what I would. Here's my challenge for him. You can tell him I said this. I get it. I kind of think the same way. I'm a math nerd. But what I want you to do is try my way for 90 days because I'm right and you're wrong, dude. Just try it for 90 days. If I'm wrong, you can go back to your old broken way. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.
From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, Confessions of a Scholarship Winner, is my co-host today. And you jump in, we'll talk about your life. She and I get the opportunity to talk a lot about student loan things because she is probably one of the leading experts in the entire world on the student loan epic failure called Washington, D.C. And the story continues.
The drama continues.
Yes. So President Biden announced that he's going to forgive $10,000 worth of student loans for anyone making less than $125,000. Court cases have ensued. Questioning whether he has the constitutional right to actually do that. And, of course, he did this before the midterms, which was a politically genius move, by the way, to try to get everybody's eye off the ball of the failing economy and so forth, because most experts say, regardless of your political leaning, that the Dems are going to take a bloodbath at the midterms. And so he's doing anything he can to get the eye off of that. And then this comes out, and this is not from right-leaning media source, from a left-leaning media source called NPR. Very interesting.
Yeah, they're saying that now up to 800,000 borrowers who thought they were going to be part of the relief may not be part of the relief now. Those are borrowers who had Perkins loans and FFEL loans that were issued and managed by private banks, but not guaranteed by the federal
government.
Guaranteed.
They're guaranteed by the federal government, but...
Yes, but guaranteed, sorry.
Yeah. But were once the mainstay of the federal loan programs until the FFEL program ended in 2010. So if you've got an old student loan prior to 2010, in a remarkable reversal that will affect the fortunes of many student loan borrowers, the U.S. Department of Education has quietly changed its guidance around who qualifies for President Biden's sweeping student debt relief plan. This is from NPR. Today, according to federal data, more than 4 million borrowers still have commercially held FFEL loans. Until Thursday, the department's own website advised these borrowers that they could consolidate these loans into federal direct loans and thereby qualify for relief under Biden's debt cancellation program. But on Thursday, the department quietly changed that language. so as not to raise a ruckus in the media. We read it. We read it. So the quiet part goes away now because there's 22 million of you out there. So we just made the quiet part go away. You just found out that they did this. I told you when this happened that it was not going to work exactly the way they said it was going to work. And besides that, they haven't even said how it's going to work completely. I told you that the Department of Education had no notice ahead of time. StudentLoan.gov had no notice ahead of time that there was going to be a student loan forgiveness announced out of the White House. If you're going to announce a sweeping program that the federal government is going to have to institute, prior to announcing it, you normally, if you're the president, would let the departments know that are going to have to institute it. They had no knowledge of it. Hint, everyone knew it wasn't really going to happen. And here are the beginnings of the unravelings. An administration official tells NPR that roughly 800,000 borrowers would now quietly be excluded from relief. I added the quietly because quietly is all in this NPR article, although it's not quiet anymore. See, you put it out there.
Right. Well, and I think that's the key is that we kind of need to put that in the megaphone because these are people who are already breathing sighs of relief that they're already counting on this forgiveness because Biden sounded confident it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
So sad. You know what screws up your hope? You know what'll steal your hope? When you place your hope in the wrong things. Let me tell you where to place your hope. Okay? There's two places that you can count on. The rest of them are going to let you down. If you're looking at a picture of your spouse, sorry, it's going to let you down. If you're looking at a picture of your mom and dad, sorry, it's going to let you down. If you're looking at a picture of your boss, sorry, it's going to let you down. If you're looking at a picture of Jesus, that one's going to work. You can place your hope there. And if you look in the mirror, you can place your hope there. If you look and you see a picture of President Biden or President Trump, either one, you place your hope there, it's going to let you down. Guys pointing at my picture in the lobby, going to let you down. Because I'm not responsible for fixing your life. You're responsible for fixing your life. And Biden is not responsible for fixing your life, and Trump is not responsible for fixing your life. It is your job to fix your life. Our job is to tell you you can do it. Go, kid, go. Get them. Skid them. Go for it. But I'm not giving you any money. You're going to make the money to get out of debt. I'm not going to wave any magic wands from over here. I don't have one. My batteries are low on the one I do have. It doesn't work. No Harry Potter action here. We don't have that at Ramsey. All we are is your biggest cheerleaders and your teachers and your guide. We will show you how. We believe you can do it. We can prove to you that you can do it if you'll get off your assumptions and go do it.
Well, yes. 100% yes. There have been a lot of emotions around this, from the very beginning, from the
Just
moment.
in this room, there's been a lot of emotions.
That's true. Lots of discussions.
We have a lot of emotions around here. We bottle them.
But that being said, I've talked to a lot of people who, of course, there's people who are upset and don't think it's going to happen, but there's a lot of people who are genuinely excited.
Counting on this.
That's
what I'm telling you. You're going to have your hope gets screwed when you place your hope on the wrong things.
Well, how do you think people should see this moving forward? People who are still qualified for this, do you think they should be nervous that potentially they could quietly fall out of it? Or what's kind of your thought on how people should look at this?
My thought from day one has been don't wait on them to fix your life. Because by the time if they actually do institute this, it may require an act of Congress. Many legal scholars are saying that. You can't really spend $300 billion. That's 300,000 million without Congress's approval. You can't just do that as a stroke of a pen as the president. You don't really have the constitutional right to do that, or at least that's what some people are saying. I don't know much about it, but it sounds reasonable to me. So if it requires an act of Congress, and you know what? When we were kids, we used to say, well, that's going to take longer than an act of Congress. You know why we say that? Because an act of Congress takes freaking forever. Congress is slower than Christmas. They're gridlocked. They don't do half of what they say they're going to do. 3/4, 90%, 98.2% of what they say they're going to do. And so, if it requires an act of Congress, you're screwed. If Biden can really do it with a stroke of a pen, it's $10,000. You have $98,000 in student loan debt. Quit acting like your life's better. Go get yourself out of debt. $10,000 isn't going to fix your life, by the way. It's going to help. And I'm not mad at you if you take it, but there's so many indications here that this is so much about the midterms and so much about optics and posturing and so much about politics more so than actual financial planning. So
it's going to be an interesting few months, I think.
Yeah,
the next
30 days from now.
Yeah.
You know, we're 30 days out from the
Well,
midterms.
they said that the application should be out any time now, so that'll be very telling.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see if it comes out before the midterms. If you actually have an application in your hands, a place to sign up on a website that they've actually programmed. So how are you going to prove $125,000 income limit in a year that's not closed? Oh, there's that. Jeez. Why is this so hard to punch holes in? It's just like Swiss cheese. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Right now, you're hearing a lot of talking heads in the news stirring up fear about the real estate market. If you believe them, you think the housing market's going to crash, that it'll be a repeat of 2008. But you're not hearing the truth. You can't make decisions based on fear. You need facts, and those aren't facts. Here they are. In 2008, there was a huge supply of homes, but not enough buyer demand. And demand and supply are what drive house prices, so home prices went down in 2008. Too many homes, not enough buyers. But that's not what's happening today. As a matter of fact, right now there's half as many homes for sale as there are buyers. We have 2 buyers for every house in the market today. That is not a recipe for a housing market crash. We've done the hard work of vetting agents who know your local market and have the transactions to back it up to connect with a real estate agent, a Ramsey trusted agent. It's free to connect with them. Go to RamseySolutions.com/agent. It's our endorsed local providers program, ELPs. They're Ramsey trusted. RamseySolutions.com/agent. Tiffany is with us in Arizona. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So back in 2014, my husband and I bought a rental house with my parents. And then in 2015, we remodeled it. My husband and I paid all the expenses, and my father did the work. And then in 2016, my parents got divorced. And it was a very spiteful divorce against each other. And my dad came to me and was like, if you give me $5,000 cash under the table, we'll be out of the rental property. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because you guys are both my parents. I'm not getting in the middle of it. So then he went down to the county clerk and put a $20,000 lien on the property so we could not sell it because there was not enough equity to cover the lien. And we've tried paying him 3 times. He won't take the money because he has to split it with my mom. So we're just kind of stuck. We don't really know what to do next.
Wow. Confessions of someone who should not have bought real estate in a partnership, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we're financially able to.
No, that wasn't what I said. Confessions of someone that should not have bought. real estate in a partnership, which is anyone, by the way. Because the only ship that won't sail is a partnership, including one with spiteful divorced parents. And your dad is a completely butthole. Oh, my God. That's so distressing. I'm so sorry for you. What a jerk. Okay, so what's the property worth?
It's worth 63, and we owe 17.
Oh, it's a big old property, too. Everybody's going to get rich on this.
So huge.
Crap. What's your household income?
Probably right now I'd say about 150.
What's your net worth?
About 500,000.
Okay, there's a couple of ways to go at this, structurally, relationally, and spiritually. Okay? Mm-hmm. Justice would be served, but not common sense, by way number one. And it's not my suggestion, but this will work. Okay? Way number one is you hire an attorney and you sue the partnership in court for the disillusionment of the partnership assets, and the judge will force the sale of the house, and he will deal with the illicit $20,000 lien in the process. Mm-hmm. Okay? And in other words, the judge would remove the $20,000 lien because you could present evidence that in state court, this is a state court, it's not a federal court move. You'd have to talk to an attorney. It's going to cost you $10,000 or $15,000 to do this. Okay? And your butthole dad is out of the picture forever because once you sue this jerk, he's never going to speak to you again. Okay? And he's a jerk.
Yeah.
Okay? But that may not be a big loss, but it is your dad. It still breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Dads should not do this to their daughters, by the way. It's not normal. That's strange. So, but that technically is how you would get out of a bad partnership, is you sue for the disillusionment of the partnership assets. The judge says you have to sell it. They sell it slow sale with a real estate agent or at an auction, and he can also rule on the illegal lien, which is what you're telling me this is, okay?
Yeah.
In the process. Now, if you want to go that route, you can go that route. That would be justice. That would be the correct thing would happen then is he would not get the $20,000 that he's not due. The property would be sold and the appropriate people would get the money, although you would be out attorney's fees. And you could sue for those and throw them in there. I assume there's no partnership agreement.
No.
Of course not.
Another problem is every time I talk to my mom, she's like, when you give your dad that money, half of that's mine. So I feel like I'm in the middle where I can't make
No, it's not. I'm not giving your dad anything. That's not the point. Okay?
Yeah.
You're not going that route. Okay? Your dad is not due any money. Is he?
I mean,
No, his deal was he did the work and you furnished the repairs. That was the deal. He's not due any money morally. Did I miss something?
We didn't pay him for the work.
I know. He got equity for it. You didn't get paid back for putting up the stuff either, did you?
No.
Okay, that was the deal. Quit covering for this jerk. Am I missing something?
No, I mean, he helped with the down payment too. That was $5,000. But even when we tried to just give him the $5,000 cash, he wouldn't take it. We tried giving him $5,000, $10,000.
Okay, here's the other way. Here's the other way out. Mm-hmm. This is 90% headache and 10% fruit. You know what I would do if I were you? I assume you're on the mortgage, right?
Yeah.
I would pay off the mortgage today and sign a quitclaim deed to these two fools and let them go work it out and walk away. Just give it to them. Screw them. Let them go burn it down. It's $63,000. Who gives a crap? You've got $500,000, you make $120,000. This is not life-changing money to you. What is life-changing is your parents are being twerps. Just walk away. Just toss them the keys over your shoulder and say, you two figure this out. Good luck, you children. And just forget it.
Their house went in foreclosure. It was worth over $200,000, and they owed $90,000, and they sent it back to the bank instead of selling it, agreeing to sell it. So money isn't really the issue.
No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
This is not about money. This is about fools. Cut yourself loose from fools.
Okay.
What's happening with the house right now? Are you guys renting it? Is it sitting vacant?
Yeah, we're renting it out. So even though it's a low, like the value is not high of the property, the rental, it's worth $1,000 a month.
So let me tell you, by the time you split all this crap up, if you spend $15,000 in attorney's fees instead of $17,000 paying off the mortgage, and you go through all this crap, you're going to end up with $10,000 in your pocket, aren't you?
Well,
after everything's said and done, after all the crap goes on, if you sue them and do it, and you fight through this for 2.5 years in the legal system, and you get this house sold, your net in your pocket is going to be between $10,000 and $20,000, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the numbers you just gave me. Yeah.
Happened in Illinois. They passed a new law that's effective 1/1/23 that where if a lien expires, which this one expired in 2018, that you don't have to go through the liener to get it, the person who put the lien on, to get it removed. Because apparently there were a lot of contractors.
It's not the lien that's the problem. You're on a mortgage and a deed with two fools.
Oh, they're not. Their name's not on the property at all. It's just our name.
Oh, this is new information.
Yeah, it's all in our name. Because they were in, I know this is super stupid I did this, but they were in Chapter 13 for
Oh, you guys are it's an under the table family. Oh. We do illegal stuff for a living here. Okay. Yeah. I thought they were on the loan with you and on the house. Okay. In this case, I would just sue him. Just sue him and get the lien removed. That's simple. Just file a lien with the court. File it with the court and get the lien removed. That's simple. And then don't give them anything. Screw them. That's the way. I mean, just if you want to give them something someday, that's fine, but not now.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org/budget.
We absolutely believe in it.
Christina Ellis, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Yes, we talked about that last call all the way through the commercial break, and you did too. That's why you listen to the Ramsey Show, because it's a little Jerry Springer-ish around here sometimes. So, oh my gosh. So here's the thing. I finally, in the last 30 seconds, got the information before we move on to the next part, that the ownership of the property was in the girl's name. Her and her husband own it. So the only hold mom or dad have on that property is a moral hold where they did a handshake partnership, but there is no legal hold on that property at all. And dad has placed a lien on the property that can be removed with a small attorney's fee of $3,000 to $5,000. So if you have a contractor that you pay and they're pissed and they say you owe me an extra $5,000, but no, that wasn't our deal, and they place a lien on your property, you can sue that contractor and have that removed, have that lien removed for, a couple $1,000 in state court. It's not a big deal. It's a quick hearing, may even be just local small claims court even, possibly, depending on how your area is. So see an attorney, honey, and just sue the contractor that placed lien on your property. The contractor, being your butthole dad, will settle the $20,000 for $3,000 and walk away. You give him the $3,000. Now you own the property free and clear. You have no moral obligation to people who tried to cheat you in an unwritten partnership agreement to pay them anything. You now just own the property. And they're just out to lunch, which is where they deserve to be. They were in Chapter 13 when you bought the property anyway. We used your name, your credit, your money to buy the property to start with. The only thing they did was come up with a really bad idea and stick you in it. And so they get nothing, which is exactly what these two goobs deserve. Parents misbehaving on the the Ramsey Show. And so that's the title of that call. One last thing. Christina's asked me about something else. What about the biblical scripture says to honor your father and mother? You are supposed to honor the office of father, the office of mother. But we do not honor your dad if he sexually molests you. We honor the office of father, but we do not honor a sexual predator. We do not honor mom if she's doing cocaine and stealing your children's college fund. You honor the office of mother, but that mother has severed her rights to be honored as an individual because of her misbehavior, biblically speaking. And so you're not biblically bound to honor people who are misbehaving in any situation.
Well, and I think that's important to highlight because I think a lot of Christians can feel guilt around that. And there are boundaries within that.
Nothing as guilty as an evangelical Christian. We can do guilt better than almost anybody.
Yep.
Maybe Catholics beat us, but I mean, we're right in there together, buddy. We got guilt down to a science. But yeah, there's nothing to feel guilty of here. You're the victim. You're not the perpetrator. All right, let's move on to something positive, like Nathan and Laura on the debt-free stage. How much debt have you two paid off?
We paid off $121,000.
I love it. How long did that take?
8 months.
8 months. And your range of income during that time?
It was 160.
160. What do you guys do for a living?
We started a content creation agency based in Memphis, so we do commercial photography and video production.
Of course you do. Way to go. Well done, you two. All right, what kind of debt was your $121,000?
It was our mortgage.
You're weird people! You have a paid-for house in Memphis.
We do.
Sir.
I love it. What's the house worth?
About 125, 225, 250.
There you
in that
go.
Range.
You just moved up considerable in
Yes.
one sentence. Good.
And how old are y'all?
I'm 26.
And I'm 27.
That's amazing.
And they have a $250,000 paid-for house. Oh, my God. You guys are awesome. Way to go. Boom, boom, boom. All right. How'd you get started on all this Ramsey stuff?
So when we got married 4 years ago, we came into the marriage with no consumer debt. And really, thanks to our parents, we didn't have any debt from college or anything like that. And so we really had a clean slate. And then when we got married, like kind of right after that, we started the business. And so 3 years ago, we kind of said, if the Lord chooses to bless our business, we would love to pay off our house and then be able to help other people and really invest back into our business and our team. And
amen and amen.
And so this year, once we've started hiring team members, and once that kind of started going, we said, we really need to get this debt gone so that we can start on that path. And so we just hit it hard.
So were your families Financial Peace families?
So I did Financial Peace Junior and had the piggy banks and all that kind of stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're Financial Peace babies.
Yes.
And at 26 and 27 years old, you have a paid for $250,000 house. Ding, ding. See what those little banks will do? Those little banks are powerful. I'm just saying.
The principles stick.
That's it.
Yeah, I truly didn't know. I didn't know that you could buy a new car. We've just always had used cars at my family. So I was like,
I didn't know that was legal.
I didn't know.
Well, 8 months, you guys weren't playing around. That's a lot
That's
to do
over
in 8
$10,000 a month.
Yeah, so what did this look like? What did this
You
journey
just
look like?
laid into it.
We really just kind of decided at the beginning of this year, when we kind of saw that it was going to be a good year for the business, we kind of decided, hey, let's just pull more money out of the business and get that debt gone, so that then we can use all of our cash flow to give and put it back into the business, and really, like Laura said, pour into our team members and pour into others personally.
Yeah, he's
as well.
so understated. We just decided to put $15,000 a month on the mortgage. Right. At the first of the year, we just decided we could do that. And
Yeah.
Then it wasn't a thing, and we just did it.
Well, we had meetings like I feel like first of every month, we were like, okay, what are you working on? What am I working on? Like, who are we trying to sell to right now? And
Gives you a different reason to sell when you got a big goal.
yes.
I like it.
It does.
What was the hardest part?
I would really say I feel like we did a great job of being on the same page, but sometimes it was hard just to want to put that much on the house instead of into other things.
What was the month you put the biggest chunk on?
Gosh.
You remember what the biggest chunk
I
was?
think it was this month.
This month? Yeah.
What was the biggest chunk?
We put 60 on it.
Oh, 60 in one lick.
Yeah.
Dad, come!
Well,
Mic drop.
we just say we were like, okay, we're just gonna wait
Yeah.
and then put it all.
Oh, you saved
on.
up a little.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of let it build up in the
Okay.
retained earnings and
How'd
brought
that
it
feel
home.
to write a $60,000 check at 26,
Ooh,
27
that's
years old?
scary.
I know. That's just like a gulp moment. It's like a roller coaster. Like, whoa!
It was kind of like you just don't think about it. Like you just kind of do it and say, because like I'm very business minded, so it's like, oh well, we could go do this, and it's like, no, we need to do this first, and then we'll have that later. So
These guys are amazing. You got it dialed in, man. You're gonna be so rich. It's gonna be so rich. I wish I was on commission. This is awesome, y'all.
Did people think you were weird? 26 and 27 paying off your house?
People don't even know.
Well, I would say, I mean, yeah, I think it is very weird among just our age group to be thinking about that, because we kind of said, when we got married, we have to avoid lifestyle creep of just like everyone around us is buying a big house and they're getting new cars and that sort of stuff. And
our parents did a great job with that too.
yeah, so I think just, not thinking we had to do everything in the order that everybody else is doing it. And then,
I'm so proud of y'all.
yeah.
Way to go, heroes.
Thank
And I know your mom and dad are sitting here. They're proud of you. Well done. Very, very well done. Good stuff. Hey, we got a copy of Total Money Makeover for you, a copy of a membership to Financial Peace, and a Baby Steps Millionaire book for you. That's the next chapter in your story if you're not already there. By the way, how much do you have in investments?
About 50.
Okay, so you're on your way then. All right, so next order of business is to finish up Baby Steps Millionaire Journey. So that's
Yes.
the next chapter in your story, and you'll be there about, 31 years old. Yeah, oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Wow, so cool, so cool. Mom and Dad are over there grinning. They're not going to be living in the basement. Yeah, these two made it. This is so good, so good. Well done. All right, Nathan and Laura, Memphis, Tennessee, house and everything. 121 paid off in 8 months, making 160. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free!
Yeah! Hey, for you parents out there, you got a 12-year-old running around with the piggy bank. That's your future. This is how you change your family tree, baby. This is the Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. This is the Ramsey Show. Steve's in Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. As of probably about a year ago, I didn't even know the Dave Ramsey Show had existed. But since then, I've been listening to you guys on the radio and your podcast.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. So what I've done since then is I eliminated some small debit cards and credit cards.
Okay, your phone's going in and out. If you could speak directly into it, maybe that'll help.
Okay, I'm sorry. So since then, I have refinanced my house from a 5-year or a 30-year 5% fixed rate to a 15-year 2.5% rate, which saved me a ton of money. I would have never known to have done that unless I was listening to you guys.
Cool.
So now the only debt that I have is my house payment and a car payment. But what one of my questions is I have $22,000 in cash in a safety deposit box, and I probably keep about $20,000 cash in my savings. What would you recommend that I do with that? I'm 48 years old and have no retirement.
Okay. So you're 100% debt-free except your home.
Except for the home and a truck payment that I probably owe like $7,000.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is pay off the truck.
Okay.
Today. And now you're debt-free. And then you need to set aside 3 to 6 months of expenses as an emergency fund of that money. So what do you think 3 to 6 months of expenses sounds like?
Well, my house payment's only $850 a month. So
what's your household income?
So right now I'm single. I am engaged, but just mine alone, I make $40 an hour. I average probably about 45 hours a week.
Okay, so what do you pay taxes on a year?
I think it's around $2,400.
A year?
Yep.
Now, what's your annual income is what I'm asking.
Oh, my annual income for me is probably about $80,000.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And so let's call 3 to 6 months of expenses $20,000 for the fun of it.
Okay.
And we're going to set that money aside and never touch it for anything. It's there just as an umbrella when it rains.
So that's kind of what I've been doing with the safety.
Yeah, I don't want to kind of do it anymore. I don't want to kind of do it. I want to label it that and then never touch it.
Okay, I have kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah, unless there's an emergency, you don't touch it.
Okay.
And a new bass boat is not an emergency.
I understand that.
Yeah, okay.
And so every time since I've been listening to you, I'm like, do I really need this turbo on this quarterback?
All right, then the rest of it, we're going to move on to the other baby steps and start your retirement account. And you need to set up a Roth IRA and anything else you can set up to get going on your savings and start saving for retirement.
Okay.
And your SmartVestor Pro can help you with that if you just go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor. And so, Christine, that's an example of a lot of that guy's a natural saver. He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Really good job. I mean, he's got money there, and he's not got much debt. A little $7,000 truck payment, way ahead of most Americans by far. You know, but he's sitting there, but he's listless and hasn't yet used the power of his income to not only get out of debt first, but then to point it towards something other than just piling up cash in a safe deposit box, and start pointing it towards wealth building. Because if the inflation rate is 9%, and that's what they say it is, that means every $10,000 that is in there is losing $900 a year.
Ouch.
In 2 years, that's $2,000 you lost sitting in the safe deposit box in purchasing power, right? And so you can't let money just sit in a stack of Benjamins. It goes down in value. And I remember when I first got on the air, I had this old hillbilly guy call me. I loved it. It was a great call because people reminded me of my whole growing up years. And he's like, yeah, I got $20,000 buried in a coffee can somewhere out in the yard. What do you think of that? And I'm like, I think that's really dumb on a whole bunch of fronts. Number one, your neighbor might have a metal detector. And he's out there with a beep, 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 looking around in the middle of the night. You wonder what's going on out there. Number two, paper left with moisture around it and bugs will deteriorate. You might go out there and find nothing but a little pile of confetti where your money used to be. And number three, you know what $20,000 is in 7 years? It's $40,000. You know what it is in 7 more years? It's $80,000. You know what it is in 7 more years? $160,000. And so in the last 21 years, you have lost $150,000 with that money sitting in a coffee can. Hey, I think I'm going to dig it up. I think you need to, son. So that's called opportunity cost. We talk about that in high finance. It's the missed opportunity that the money could have had.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's awesome that he's a natural saver because when somebody like this finds a plan, then they typically get on fire and they're good at executing. We're not having to deal with changing habits. We're not having to deal with, cutting off a spending bleed. But this person's going to find this and just dive in and be on track for wealth quickly.
A spending bleed.
A spending bleed.
There could be a spending bleed in the culture. There could be a lot of people bleeding to death with their spending bleed.
Yeah.
That's very possible, yeah. Because what you're talking about is most people spend more than they make. They spend money like they're in Congress.
Right.
And, he's not. He's doing a really good job. So
well, it's
done.
like if you've got the spending bleed, we have not only the principles that you need to learn, but you've got to have it.
We got
the tourniquet.
We can stop the bleeding, baby. It's what we do. Yeah, we will light you up. Jeanette's with us in Sacramento. Hey, Jeanette, what's up?
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. My husband and I are in our late 50s, and we have some money in the bank, minus our emergency fund. That's all set. We have about $350,000. We owe $305,000 on our house, and our adult children have recently moved to Florida, so we're considering buying a condo there. we could take that money in the bank and buy the condo with cash, or we could pay off our first mortgage. And we're just wondering what you think would be the better thing to do.
If you buy the condo, are you going to keep the house you're in right now?
Yes. And our goal would be to spend about 4 months a year in Florida. So like 2 months in Sacramento, 1 month in Florida, and back, so we don't have to rent a hotel and that kind of a thing. So they're in the military, so it may only be a 3 or 4 year thing that we would keep that condo. So we're just debating. The interest rate's higher now, and our current interest rate on the home we have is 2.85%.
And this $350,000 in the bank, is that just cash sitting there, or where'd that pile of money come from?
That's sitting there because we have not been sure what to do, whether to pay off
What's your household income?
Or buy. About $300,000 a year.
Good for you. Well done. You've done a great job. Okay, so your question is a question of prosperity. I'll tell you what we believe in, what I did personally. Okay, I've got a nice lake home, and I've got some other properties as well that are for family enjoyment. Okay, those are called toys. So a Florida condo is a toy. You pay cash for toys, and you pay cash for toys after your home is paid off. So what I would do is I would write a check and I'd pay off my house today. And then I would begin to aggressively save if I want to buy a condo. But in the meantime, I'd just go over there and get me a real nice Airbnb, or just go, for less than $300,000, you can rent a house. Just rent it for the year. I mean, wouldn't cost that much. I mean, what could you rent that $300,000 condo for? Probably $2,000 a month.
That's gone up quite a bit, like $3,200 a month.
Oh, okay. All right. So $36,000 instead of $300,000. So, and here's what you're going to find out. I did this one time. Okay, I was hell bent on a certain property that I shall remain nameless, that I wanted to live in. I mean, I wanted to have as a second home. It was a vacation home, and my wife was convinced we needed it too. So we had talked ourselves into it. So we went and rented one for a year, and we went up there 4 times in a year. And we counted up what we could have stayed in the freaking penthouse in the Ritz-Carlton for that, and not had to deal with the maintenance. Yeah, all that. So yeah, we figured out it wasn't such a great idea after all, and that renting experience taught us that we didn't want to be an owning person in that type of property. So yeah, I would rent for a year and I'd pay off my house. That's what I'd do. This is the Ramsey Show. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. From the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create real, amazing relationships. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today as we answer your questions about your life and your money. Open phones at 888-825-5225. We launched a new podcast at Ramsey here about 10 days ago, and it has gone to #1 on all the sites. It's called Smart Money Happy Hour, with George Camel and Rachel Cruz hosting and drinking and talking and hosting and laughing and drinking and talking. And the two of them, they're just straight up funny. They're fun. And the podcast is a huge hit already. It's hit #1 on a whole bunch of the lists, and already several million people lining up. So check it out, Smart Money Happy Hour, the newest podcast from the Ramsey Networks. Also on this show continues to dominate the podcast world, the talk radio world, and even the YouTube world. If you like this show, help us out by subscribing to it, however you're consuming it, whether that's podcast or YouTube. Leave a review. Especially if you think it's like 5 stars. If you think it's awful, don't leave a review. We don't want to hear from you. We only want 5-star reviews. And here's the big thing. More important than either one of those things is share it with somebody. Tell somebody, listen to this stuff. It's life-changing. If you'll tell somebody, that helps us, and it helps them, and it helps you. Everybody's winning all the way around. So Pods has come alongside us, Pods Moving and Storage, and is the new studio sponsor. We got a little pod back here on the shelf behind us, and proud to have these guys. The leadership team is a team that we align with on so many things, just good people. And we know a lot of you are planning on moving soon. And so as a part of being the new studio sponsor, Pods Moving and Storage wants to help one of you move for free. Yeah. So here's what you do. You go to pods.com/Ramsey between October 3rd and October 14th, and you can enter to win a free move. It's really simple.
That's amazing.
One listener is going to get a free move or a free storage rental up to a $5,000 value. And you can move with Pods a lot cheaper than that, by the way. Look, Pods just makes moving easier. With the flexibility you need, the control you want, the customer service you deserve. It's an incredible company. They're going to take great care of you. They'll drop the pod off with the Podzilla delivery system. It's pretty stinking incredible. Keeps everything level so all your stuff doesn't like schlep to the back and crash into each other and break everything after you so carefully packed it in there. Instead, it lifts it perfectly level. It's like the claw, right? Remember that in Toy Story, the claw? Yeah. If you're looking for a company that will help you move on your terms, Pods is the only Ramsey trusted moving provider. And so what you're doing to get the free move, you sign up between October 3rd, October 14th to win. No purchases necessary, of course. Go to pods.com/Ramsey and enter to win a free moving or storage rental today. Pods.com/Ramsey. Good stuff. This is a great partnership with these guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. Having just moved earlier this year, it can be a lot and very stressful. So a free move is an incredible giveaway.
Brian's in Seattle. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Not bad. How you guys doing?
Better than we deserve, sir. What's up in your world?
So I got a divorce about a year ago, and I have full custody of my children. And according to the courts, my ex owes me just under $70,000, and it became obvious I was never going to see a dime of it, so I kind of gave up on that. But I really needed the money. I was a few days away from missing a house payment, and my parents figured out what was going on, and they bailed me out. And I'm beyond grateful. I'm doing way better than I deserve, and I have a paid-for home now as a result of it. And right now, though, the thing that the question is that she's not going to sign the quitclaim deed. And I don't want to stir up any problems.
Oh, too late.
I want to keep the peace.
Too late. You can't keep the peace.
I want to move on.
Wait a minute. She has a court order. She has a court order.
Yeah.
She's going to sign a quitclaim deed. She's got about 20 seconds. Ready, set, go. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Let me just tell you. Your wife, your ex-wife, is not very smart. She does not want to be in contempt of court. They put people in jail for that crap.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. You have your attorney, call her old attorney, and tell him, you have 5 minutes to get this signed, or we're going to file with the judge, and the judge is going to put her in jail for contempt of court. After he tells her to sign it, if she doesn't sign it instantly, judges don't screw around with this stuff. They're kind of bossy. That's why they call them judges.
The thing that I'm kind of worried about is that she's kind of high conflict, and I just don't want to put the kids in the middle of a high conflict.
Your kids aren't in the middle of it. Kids ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Chick needs to sign one piece of paper that the court told her she had to sign. It's not high conflict. This is high stupid.
Yeah.
Your kids aren't in the middle of nothing. She just needs to be smacked into next week, metaphorically speaking.
Also, you said you have full custody. What does that relationship look like with your kids and her?
I try to make sure that she gets her visitation, so she has, supervised visits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
Yeah, and
that doesn't even enter into it. You're abiding by the court order on the visitation, aren't you?
Yeah.
And she has missed 2 of 3 she's missed the other 2. Number 1, $70,000, no show. Number 2, sign the quitclaim deed, gonna show, baby. You owe your parents this. You're scared of her, aren't you?
A little bit.
I can't blame you, really, because I think this one is a test pilot for a broom factory, man.
Well, and as a parent, I do feel the empathy of wanting to protect your kids, but I think it's fortunate.
No, do the kids. This has got he don't want to deal with her.
Yeah.
She is way too much trouble to deal with, and that's why she's the ex. That's why they call them exes. Yeah, but dude, you got to get your house. This is not going to go well. You think it's going to get better by not dealing with it? It's going to get worse. Conflict delayed is conflict amplified, Dr. John Deloney says.
Yeah.
It's going to get bigger, isn't it? It's a splinter under the skin. It's going to fester, and then you're going to have your hand cut off because of gangrene. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. It's an ouchie, but you got to deal with it.
Well, and I think this is actually a way to protect your kids. I think that dealing with this is going to actually give you a little bit more control over this relationship versus dragging it out for years. This needs to be cut off. This needs to be done.
But here's the thing. It's not got anything to do with your kids. Kids aren't even in the equation. I'm not going to talk about the kids about it. It's not kid stuff. It's adult stuff. You just be sweet to the kids, and you be sweet to them when you drop her off. You don't run her down to the kids, even if she is a twerp. You're still not going to run her down. The kids, you just speak highly of their mom, and you just be a good man, a man of nobility who enforces the law. And the law said, the judge said, with the hammer on the gavel, bump, bump, sign the quitclaim deed. Have your attorney contact her attorney today, dude. Do not put this off. You have got to deal with this. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, #1 best-selling author, and my co-host this hour, Ramsey personality, joining us. One of our good friends, Ambassador or Governor Nikki Haley is with us. Got a brand new book out. Hey, Ambassador, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. I always hesitate whether to call you Nikki or not. It feels like breaking protocol.
It's Nikki. Those are moments in time, so it's just Nikki.
Well, you've been on here 3 or 4 times with us, so we feel like we're old friends, and we love you. We appreciate you.
Yes, we are.
The brand new book, last time you were over here, you told us this was coming. If you want something done, get a lady to do it. Leadership Lessons from Bold Women. What a great book. Oh, the back of it says, Ask a Woman. Oh, Margaret Thatcher. If you want something done, ... on the back of the rest of the title. I love it. See the design now. Ask a Woman. Good.
So it's based off of the Thatcher quote that was, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. And I am a huge Margaret Thatcher fan and, have always loved the fact that she believed in Britain, but more importantly, she believed in herself. Mm-hmm. And, as I went to the United Nations, I learned a lot about Jean Kirkpatrick, who was my predecessor, who was unapologetic about, when it came to America and just loved her country. And she wasn't a politician by any means, but she found her strength, and then went on and I met people like Nadia Murad, who lived in Iraq. Her family was killed by ISIS. She was taken and gang raped and, trafficked, and she came out of it stronger and actually helped hold her ISIS, abusers accountable and, basically made the entire world hold them accountable and really hold them at fault and help the Yazidi community. Or, it's just Cindy Warmbier, who I met, and she was the mother of Otto Warmbier, who was tortured by North Korea. And the idea that she could take that unthinkable pain and make sure she put the fight back to North Korea. So it's just, these are ordinary women who became extraordinary.
Wilma Rudolph is in here, right?
Wilma Rudolph.
Yeah, she's a good Tennessee. That's a good Tennessee story. I had her on the show when she was alive. She was a force of nature.
I mean, think about the idea. Wilma Rudolph had polio, wore a brace until she was 12 years old, and in 8th grade decided to run when they thought she would never be able to walk. And here she's the first female to win 3 gold medals in an Olympics for track. It's remarkable.
You know the Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was from Clarksville. Yeah. She was a force of nature. I mean, amazing. Just her presence in the studio. But that's powerful. Very cool. Did you get to meet Wilma?
No, I wish I could have. But I just loved her story. I thought it was just amazing. And so these are stories, when I look back, I think parents know that strong girls become strong women, and strong women become strong leaders. And what I hope is that parents will go out and, get this book for their girls and let them know they deserve to be in the room. I hope this is motivation for young professional women that are growing through the ranks. I hope this is used as a thank you for mentors and leaders who have helped women along the way. And I hope that this is a reminder that our world is better because we have women in it. I think men will enjoy reading this book too, but I think more than anything, I want it to be a reminder to women that, nothing comes easy, but when you work hard, you can really make a difference in the world.
I love that. As a mother of a young daughter, that just makes me so excited to read it. And it comes out tomorrow, October 4th. Tell us a little bit more about what people can read in the book and just what they're going to get away from it.
So, it'll highlight people that you've heard of, like Margaret Thatcher or Golda Meir, who was an amazing problem solver. And to hear all that she did for Israel and the different twists and turns that went along the way, and she never gave up, to people who you may not have heard of, like Claudette Colvin, which, everyone knows that Rosa Parks was the woman in Alabama who refused to get up from the bus. But what they don't know is actually she wasn't the first one. 9 months earlier, Claudette Colvin had been studying the Constitution in her school, and at 15 years old, she sat in the bus and refused to get up. She was literally the first one that was taken, arrested, ridiculed, known as the girl that was arrested in Montgomery. And because she was young, they thought she was emotional and feisty. They thought she didn't look the part. So they waited 9 months, got Rosa Parks, who was a member of the NAACP, someone who was more mature, someone who they felt like was more disciplined, and they used her as the person that did it. But think about a 15-year-old girl having the courage and strength to do that first. So it's stories like that are just remarkable.
It's straight up swagger. I mean, that's incredible. Very, very powerful. The book is If You Want Something Done, Ask a Woman. Ambassador Nikki Haley is our guest this segment. She is the author of this. She is a New York Times best-selling author with the first book, With All Due Respect, which is what people say right before they disrespect you.
It's the Southern way of kicking you with a smile.
Yeah, bless your heart, which can mean I'm going to slit your throat. Yeah.
So you've written about all these inspiring women, but do you have someone who's the most inspiring woman for you personally?
Well, I think I've always loved to see the success of other women. And, if you go to the story, I do a story about Amelia Earhart as well. And, many people think of her as, the female pilot who basically got lost trying to fly around the world. But that's not what her story was about. Her story was very much about the fact that she loved to see women successful. And female pilots back then weren't allowed to fly alone. They had to have a male counterpart with them when they flew. And she started this team called the 99s, which were 99 female pilots that just wanted to be able to fly alone. And she cheered them on. And so, now I have so many that I think are inspirational. Of course, my mom will always be my first inspiration. And she, grew up in India and was a lawyer and became one of the first female judges. But because of the times in India, she was never able to sit on the bench. So the idea that she couldn't do it, but that she raised a daughter who became the first female minority governor in the country shows that strong women breed strong women, and allowed me to learn from her. And then, you look at
Margaret Thatcher, and the idea that, she took on, a time where socialism was the norm in Britain. Government was continuing to rule, and she basically erased 40 years of socialism in 10 years by making sure she privatized government industries like steel and air. And she made sure that she cut taxes, and she showed that when you have more money in your pockets, that's how you get the economy to turn. And, she got a tremendous amount of pressure to reverse that, and a tremendous amount of pressure that she was going the wrong way, and she never let the heat get to her. She stayed true to who she was and ended up being a celebrated leader.
One of the most powerful ever in Britain, really. I mean, Churchill-esque in so many ways. The social movement that she caused was really a revolution. And if you don't believe me, visit some of the mines in Scotland. They'll tell you. Some of them still don't like her.
When she was called the Iron Lady, and interestingly enough, the Soviets gave her that name, and they gave her that name as a joke. But she wore it as a badge of pride and, as a badge of honor, and became the Iron Lady, and what was a very respectable term after that.
Ambassador Nikki Haley, our guest this segment. Again, the book is If You Want Something Done, Ask a Woman. It comes out tomorrow. It has a pretty recognizable bright green cover. I love your creative on it. Very, very well done. It'll jump off the bookshelves and not get lost in the shuffle. But you've never been lost in the shuffle since I've known you, so that's perfect for you. So thank you for standing up against our crazy culture out there. We're watching you do it, and we're praying for you. Thank you for who you are and your service to this country.
Thanks so much for having me on. Y'all take care.
Come by and see us, my friend. Nikki Haley, if you want something done, ask a woman. Powerful stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. Free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. It's a great deal. This is a wonderful company. If you're going to put a blind in your house, this is the way to do it. Blinds.com. Use Ramsey as your promo code. It's magical. It'll get you the best deal.
Today's question comes from Beth in North Carolina. My 18-year-old has $40,000 in stocks that was given to him by a family member. To pay for college, should he pull money from them to pay for each semester or pull money from them and pay each year in full? Is one option better than another, or does it not matter? If he pulls from them, how does he figure out how much he'll pay in taxes each year he cashes out stocks? It's an interesting question. I'll let you speak to the tax part, but I'll quickly cover the financial aid part. One of the biggest questions I would have is he financial aid eligible? Because this money could definitely impact that. A lot of people don't realize how assets can impact the EFC equation, which is your expected family contribution. So if you are a student, your assets are factored in at 20% whenever they're calculating your financial aid. And if that's income, it's factored at 50%. So by pulling that money in, if he's still applying for the FAFSA, it could be counted as income in a future financial need equation. Therefore, it could reduce his eligibility for future financial aid. So that's a factor that a lot of people don't consider when they're looking at these assets. So
what would be his best strategy in that case?
Well, he may not want to spend it at all until the end of college. If he can find another way to go to school debt-free, he may want to just leave that money invested. If he can get scholarships, if he can pay for it, because right now it's a student asset. So student assets are factored at 20%.
So that's $8,000.
Versus at the income, if he pulls it out as income, it's factored in at 50%.
Yeah, but if he pulls out, if there's $40,000 He pulls out $10,000. It's $5,000, not $8,000.
But the thing is it just depends on what his ultimate EFC is. If he's a high need student, that could knock him out of the running for different.
$5,000 could.
If it increases its EFC significantly. So, and it's just that money could be, if he can get a scholarship instead, I mean, it could be better to leave that money saved, because if he's got a zero EFC.
If he can work and get scholarships and not touch it, that's going to be the best for the equation.
Yes, especially for future financial aid.
But $8,000 is still count against him just because he's got it on the books. 20% of 40.
Yeah, I mean, it's still gonna count. So it's just important to look at how your income and assets are going to affect you, especially as a student. So if it's a parental asset, it's only factored in at 5.64%. So parental assets have a lot less of a ding on the financial aid equation.
Where the crap do they get 5.64?
I know.
This is bureaucrats, right? They just 5.64 is the exact number of actual. Oh my God!
But it's a conversation to have. A lot of
conversation
people,
to have. But at the end of the day, in no case are we saying use debt to keep from messing with this. You use this money to avoid debt at the end of the day if you have to, even if it messes up something else. But go get scholarships, work, leave the money alone is the best for the formula.
Right.
But if you if the formula is, if you don't have access to anything, use the money, pay cash for college as you go. Now go ahead.
It's also important that this family member, they put it in the student's name. Perhaps they could have put it in the parent's 529. Therefore, it would have been a parental asset. But if they put it in a brokerage account in stocks in the student's name, then that's just a different factor. So if you're a family member wanting to give a student money for college, talk to the parent, because you could put it in the parent's 529. And then that'll affect the FAFSA differently.
Yeah.
So just be strategic about that, because I've talked to countless families who didn't really know how that factored in.
Unless you're just going to give them enough to pay for college and that's it.
Right. That's fantastic.
If you're just going to pay for college. If $40,000 pays for the whole school, then that's different, but it won't.
Yeah. So
in most cases anyway.
Yeah, I wrote about it in my second book, How to Graduate Debt Free, just how parents and students can look at their income and assets to make sure they're doing it the most strategic way, an informed way, so that they don't accidentally ding themselves on the FAFSA just not knowing.
Yeah. Now, your answer to your tax question is this. Your basis for tax calculation is, in other words, the equivalent of what you paid for it. It would be your basis normally. But with a gift, your basis is the value of the stock at the time he received it. So it's worth $40,000 today. Let's say that it was worth $30,000 when he received it, and it's gone up to $40,000. He only pays tax on the gain over what it was worth when he got it. That's all. Okay? And so he needs to figure out what the value was at the time he received the gift of the portfolio. And there's probably sitting with a broker. The broker will probably do that, one phone call, one email. All right? And so whoever the financial advisor that's helping you with this is can probably do that. And then he's going to pay taxes at the capital gains rate of 15% over what he paid or what it was worth at the time he received it. And so in my example, if he cashed out the whole stinking thing and it was worth $30,000 when he got it, it's worth $40,000 now. He has a $10,000 taxable event at 15%. The taxes are $1,500, and so it's not bad. So your basis in a gift is the value at the time. No, wait a minute. That's on estates. I just did that wrong. All the CPAs out there are throwing rotten tomatoes at the radio right now. I screwed that up. No, the basis is what the guy that gave it to him paid for it. It's worse.
Well,
the family member, what they paid for it is the basis on a gift. It's not. He did not inherit it. It's not an estate. It stepped up basis in an inheritance, but in this case, you guys can all send me hate mail on Twitter and everything else you do anyway. But yeah, I screwed that up. I almost screwed it up. I fixed it mid-sentence.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got it. You got it.
I caught it halfway through as I stumbled across the line and fumbled the ball and missed the Super Bowl. But anyway, yeah, that's it. You have to find out what the family member paid for this set of stocks that he gave to your 18-year-old, and that's probably a lot less. Well, you got a lot of taxes here.
Yeah, and to quickly go back to the income, so if they took out that $40,000 in one single calendar year and it's factored in at 50% of their income, then that reduces their aid eligibility in future years by 50%. So that's $20,000.
All the future years as well, not just that year?
The next year.
The next year, the following year. Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually a $20,000 ding.
So one thing they could have done would have been to cash it out when he was a senior in high school. and put it into an ESA.
Or junior year, because now it's prior
Yeah,
year.
yeah. If you can go all the way to junior, that'd be even better. But
sophomore.
Yeah, if it was that long ago, and that way it doesn't affect your formula, and it gets it out of single stocks and put it in something else.
Right.
Where it's not as volatile, because I don't know what this portfolio looks like. So there's a lot going on here. The bottom line is we're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Ha-ha, this is a gift. And so there's lots of good things about getting $40,000 that I can count that are beat any kind of equations for financial aid or beat a little bit of capital gains taxes. So it's a wonderful, wonderful gift.
Well, just have those conversations, because it could be a simple conversation sophomore year could save you, $4,000, $8,000 in the long run, and that's worth it just simply by having that knowledge.
Yeah, and if you moved it into a 529 in a mutual fund, it going up in value, it'd have no taxes from that point forward. So that you would limit the taxes, and you would have limited the damage to the thing if you'd have moved it ahead of time. So there we go. Now we got a good strategy. Catch it at the sophomore year, move it then. Kim's in Philadelphia. Hi, Kim. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Christina. Hi, Dave. Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay, so a caller a few weeks ago, I'm not sure when, but had been talking about some Social Security death benefits that he had received for several years. And at the end of the conversation, Dave, you said, well, that's not what I would do with them, but you didn't really elaborate on that. So I'm calling to ask for a little bit more elaboration on that. My kids, I have 3 kids, and we're getting Social Security death benefits. Actually, all 4 of us get them, but
yeah. When did your husband pass?
He passed just past June.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Well,
and,
what I would do is simply this. I would integrate them into the budget, because you spend more raising these kids than the government is giving you, so you are not stealing their money. You're not stealing their money. I would just integrate it into the budget, make it part of your income, and you take care of your kids. You take care of their college, you take care of their life, you buy their clothes, you pay for their doctor bills, and all of that adds up to way more than you're getting in Social Security. So you're not taking their money from them and doing something else with it. You're taking care of them in excess of money you're receiving to take care of them. So I would integrate it into the budget is what I teach. This is the Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Martin Luther King Jr. said, out of the mountain of despair, a stone of hope. Ooh, man. Good turn of phrase. Absolutely amazing. Christina Ellis, and #1 best-selling author, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Boca Raton, Daniel's on the line. Hi, Daniel. How are you?
I'm good, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I wanted your feedback on a few things. I think it's going to be a kind of a 3-part question. So I've not been great at managing money most of my life, and I have racked up a lot of debt, not in the hundreds of thousands, but with like medical bills included, maybe 40 or 50. And I sat down with some friends. What I've decided to do is actually live out of my car because I own it. Why not? I'm still paying it off, but I have it. And that's something I can use, and put all that money I would put towards rent, utilities, towards savings. However, I'm working baby step 1 and 3 together before I move on to 2. I feel given inflation and where things are at, that might be the wisest thing. But I kind of wanted to tie into this question on, because I think a part of my problem has been income. And I think there's just more I could do in that area. And so I'm trying to see where in the baby steps paying for college in cash might fit into that, to increase my income, or if you even think it's worth it or not to go to college these days.
What do you make a year?
Well, I'm in multi-unit management. I'm a district manager. I'm making about $70,000.
Multi-unit. What's that mean?
So you oversee multiple locations of the company you're working for.
Oh, I see. Okay. And are you in different cities all the time, or are you just planning homelessness?
Oh, I'm in a couple different cities. It just depends. I structure my week differently every week.
Do they give you some kind of travel per diem allowance for hotels?
Well, I don't travel that far, I don't pay any out of, they reimburse, I think, 66 cents a gallon of gas.
Yeah.
But no, there's no need for a hotel.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay, so you're asking our opinion on this whole situation. Am I gathering that correctly?
Yeah, I made some of these choices, like moving into my car to get rid of debt.
Yeah.
Get rid of everything and save as much as possible.
I appreciate that. That is so extreme, I would not recommend it.
Okay.
I have never recommended someone live out of their car in 30 years of doing this. You make $70,000 a year. I don't want you to rent something for $2,500 a month, but I want you to get a roommate and get a cheap little apartment of some kind and have a place to unpack your stuff and take a freaking shower.
Okay, I mean, I use a gym and all that.
I know what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing, but I don't think it's romantic at all. I'm just telling you, I think the quality of your life is going to enter into your ability to sustain long-term working a plan. And you've gone so extreme that it's going to be very difficult emotionally. You're untethered from everything in this situation. And so it's one of the problems when we work with the homeless community. It's one of the problems they face emotionally is being untethered. There's no anchor to begin to build from a solid place, and that's the emotion that they feel. You're doing this intentionally, so you're not, quote, in the homeless community, but you've chosen the exact same lifestyle. As a single mom who got thrown out of her apartment and is living in her house and showering at the gym. And it's the exact same thing as in a homeless scenario. So I would choose to have a very, 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 very modest place to live, but a place to live, number one. Number two, I'd look for any extra jobs I can do to get my income up. And then number three, you don't work the baby steps out of order.
Yeah. And I mean, you can find, even with the room situation, you can get a roommate, you can live in a room for $300 a month. It may not be glamorous, but it's definitely better than being untethered.
Yeah, more glamorous than the back seat.
Yeah, and with the college conversation, Dave, he mentioned paying for college. With $40,000 to $50,000 in debt, would you even consider that
No,
now?
not
or
right
just
now.
take it?
Not right now.
Yeah.
I want to get up and running, and what I would do is making $70,000 plus some extra work. I'm going to plow through this $40,000 or $50,000 in 2 years, and I'm going to have an emergency fund, and then I'm going to save and pay cash for college as I go. And do we recommend college as a long-term play? Absolutely, if it applies to your career field. Generally, just going, I want to go get a degree. No, I don't recommend that. Just as an opportunity to play beer pong for your 18-year-old. No, thank you. But we do say, if you're going into a field where the academics, the rigor of academia, and the actual knowledge base that you come out of it with will be helpful and cause you to go forward, not just the degree, but the actual knowledge, then yeah, I would go get that knowledge. It is a barrier to entry into some things. It's a barrier to progress in other things. So yeah, I would do that. But it's not a magic pill. Like suddenly everything's going to be okay because I got a college degree.
Well, and that's, I think, part of the challenge is he's making good money. And I think sometimes when people feel overwhelmed, when they feel uneasy, they kind of look at college as that auto solution. Yeah. Like, if I get a master's degree, then I'm going to make more money and my problems will be solved. And I've met plenty of people who went into debt to get a master's degree and they didn't make that much more money or even any more money at all, really. So, I mean, it is good to go back to college if it's going to truly help.
You can get a master's degree in social work and take a pay cut in his situation.
Right, exactly. So college, it's a great conversation. We're big advocates for education, but make sure the education has a purpose and a point and
it's not a silver
makes
bullet.
financial
It's not a silver
sense.
bullet that makes your life all good all of a sudden. That's not how it works. But yeah, so be intelligent about that. But what I would do is go get a roommate situation, a modest apartment, an extra job. I'd get on a tight budget, and I'd work the baby steps in order. $1,000, and then I want you to tear into these debts and start plowing your way through them. You're going to be amazed when you don't do anything else. If you're willing to go so extreme as to live in your car, the extreme you can do with an apartment and still get out of debt making $70,000, you'll be able to knock out $40,000 or $50,000. I mean, it's $25,000 a year out of $70,000, and you're debt free in 2 years. You can do this. You'll be done in short order, a lot faster than 2 years probably. You could be done in 1 year depending on how much extra you work. You could make an extra $25,000.
Yeah.
And be done in 1 year with your income plus $25,000. That's very possible, considering you do nothing else with your life, because you were going to be living in the car.
Right.
And, you're willing to go extreme. That's for sure. So that willingness tells us your motivation is really high, and that's a wonderful thing. You'll be able to utilize that. So, Daniel, we'll help you with this. I want you to go through Financial Peace University as our guest. We're going to show you detail by detail, step by step, how to do this stuff, why to do this stuff in order. Your situation's not different. You need to work the baby steps in order. There's a baby step 2 that follows 1 for a reason, and you're not different. It is baby step 1, then 2, then 3. And, don't talk to me about inflation. You're the guy that was getting ready to live in his car. Don't talk to me about you've got this thing figured out. You're the guy that was going to live in his car. Follow the stinking program, dude, and we'll show you how to do it. We'll pay for it for you. It doesn't cost you a dime. We want to help you. And call us back and tell us how you're doing. Say, I was the guy who was almost homeless. You talked me out of it. Tell us how I'll remember the call. Tell us how you're doing. If you just tell me you're Daniel in Boca, I won't remember it. I promise you. But tell me the situation. It'll come right back to me. I promise. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for being willing to sacrifice. A lot of people in our culture aren't willing to sacrifice. We're too lazy.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to hustle and grind and willing to sacrifice, you can pull off a lot of stuff in this culture today. There's a lot of wonderful things can happen in your life. So I'm proud of you. Good work. Good work, Christina. Well done. Well done today. Austin Selby is our associate producer and phone screener. Ben, Zach, Andrew, and James, the booth dudes, are running the show in there. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Have you been inspired to make a change with your money? Want to know where to start? Take our 3-minute money quiz to get a plan you can follow. Go to RamseySolutions.com and search for Get Started to get a plan for your money.